Hello, it's great to be back.
Thank you. We really need to do like a Star Wars one again.
Yes, we do.
But
there's much
May
more
yet.
to cover. Well, May's coming up.
I know. Well, and I have been planning on it and been like, I really want to, like, every May the 4th, be able to drop a Star Wars episode.
Well, you know who to call.
The people will know.
Who are you gonna call?
Erin.
Erin.
Well, and today we are having some tea by D&Tea. They're one of my favorite tea companies. And this one is called Mountain Squall. And I was saying before the episode, it tastes kind of like drinking a rainstorm.
It smells like a rainstorm right now. Yeah. Like it's like enveloping my nostrils and just
like
overpowering.
Otherworldly almost. Like so fun, such a dynamic tea.
It also sounds like something David Attenborough would say in like a narration.
Yeah.
The Mountain Squall.
The Mountain Squall. Yeah. As per usual, we'll be rolling a 20-sided dice and going through some questions. Our topic today is adulting and all its joys and woes. Would you like to go first?
Sure. Because I haven't been an adult as long as you have, but that's not an old joke, but...
It's an 18. You got a very good roll. Okay. This is actually really appropriate for this season.
Okay.
Taxes.
Uh-huh.
Are you good about doing your taxes? How are your feelings about them? Did anyone ever actually teach you how to do your taxes? Or did you just kind of figure it out?
A little bit of everything. So I am actually really good at doing my taxes because...
look at you.
Because I'm an anxious mess and I'm paranoid about everything. I'm the kind of person that I know I will forget to do my taxes if I put it off too long.
That's fair.
And I don't want the IRS to come at me.
I want the government to come after you.
Because the government is already after us, and that's the last thing I need is the IRS and everything. But so I'm really good at doing my taxes. I've actually already done mine and got my return this year. Yeah.
That's great.
They're usually pretty good at getting back. I mean, if something's wrong, they'll get back to you, but like...
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, when you do them earlier on...
They do get back to you.
They do turn around a lot faster.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because actual humans
because not
have to do it.
It's due by April, so everybody's going to do it in April.
Oh, yeah.
And so it takes them longer to get back to you. So that's why you do it early.
I know.
Tidbits with Erin. Adulting with Erin.
Adulting with Erin. Well, yeah, that could be our title of the podcast. Adulting with Erin. But no, like, it's very true. So did somebody teach you though, or did you just kind of figure this out when you had your first job?
I use like the online like TurboTax because it's the assisted one, but like up until I was about 18, my parents always had a tax guy do their taxes because they have a lot of like.
Because they own like rental properties.
Yeah, they own rental properties, and it's just like it does get complicated as you get old, like that. I guess.
Like that old.
That old. We gotta.
We're like normal person old. They're like old person old.
Yeah, but so then when I turned 18, my dad was like, "You're gonna do your taxes yourself," and I was like, "Okay, cool, thanks."
Okay.
And so then he's like, you can use this website, and like I think my sister was actually more help than my dad was, which is a testament to the way I was raised too.
That's fair.
Honestly,
That's
my
fair.
dad is much. Yeah. Anyways, we won't go there.
He's your dad.
He's my dad. He's an interesting person. But my sister was like, yeah, this is how you do it. They help you along and everything.
Aww.
And I feel like my taxes have gotten a little bit less like
stressful?
It's less stressful because like, yes, I'm in school, but my school doesn't because I always had to do like the school taxes and everything, and that's kind of always a pain too.
Yeah, we have to add the extra stuff in and figure out like how does this.
Yeah, and that was when I went to UVU, which is a like a university, and the school I'm in now is like a small college, and so they actually don't do.
Online.
It's not a government funded thing, and so like they actually don't do tax returns, and so now that I don't have to incorporate school into my taxes, I don't get a return on those, but it makes taxes a breeze.
So much easier.
But yeah, I kind of learn as I go, and I learn things like as I'm doing them, but like my sister and like they've been really big help to me, and like I have an uncle that he's an accountant and like does like tax stuff all the time, so I can always ask him questions too.
That's super, super nice.
Yeah.
I feel like wasn't ever, like, officially taught. I did have the thing
I don't know if anyone ever really is, though.
Yeah. Like, nobody ever, like, sat down. Like, I never had a parent or a teacher figure or somebody in school or something sit down and be like, this is how you fill out taxes, which I feel like is kind of a very large, important, like, gap in our education system.
I'm actually going to pause you right there because there is a class in high school that is required called financial literacy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And they do teach you how to do stuff like that in it, but who pays attention? That was an online class for me in high school that I took. My mom did the class for me.
Whoa.
Because, like, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't understand any of this. And she's like, so she basically,
she just filled it out for, oh my God.
I mean, I did it, but, like, she was helping me with, like basically,
she
like,
through stuff.
Everything,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, I was, like, a sophomore in high school taking a financial literacy class online. Like,
gosh.
Yeah, online classes,
nobody's gonna pay attention to that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, ours was in person. I did take a financial literacy class. We mostly learned about, like, credit cards.
Sure. I mean, yeah, but, like...
Like, we learned about credit cards and how banks work. But we didn't learn, like... how to file taxes or
sure,
like
I mean, yeah.
things that you would feel like that, at least I feel like this would probably be an important thing to include in a class like that. And like I do remember my parents being like, oh, you have a job now, when I was like young and I had like my first job, like it was like a summer job, you know, and they're like, oh, you have a job now, you're gonna have to do taxes. And I was like, okay.
How old were you?
My first job, how old was I? I was probably either 15 or 16 and had like like a summer job in high school.
Yeah,
you know?
They made me do my taxes when I was 18. I had my first job at 17.
Yeah.
And they didn't because I, turned 18, get my own credit card, adulting, stuff like that.
The whole thing. Yeah. No, I do remember filing my taxes and being very confused.
Oh yeah, super confusing because you're like, I don't
no idea what anything meant or what I was supposed to put places. I remember asking a friend and also asking a coworker if I was filling out like when I started my summer job, if I was filling out the W-2s correctly, because I was like, I don't even know what any of this means. And then later on when we're like, I only had the job for like summertime, right? And so I was in high school when I had to fill out taxes for this job that I'd have for like 3 months in the summer one time.
Yep.
So yeah, it was it's just a blur.
Well, and now taxes are much easier because it is all online, but like my taxes, like when I get my W-2 back, it automatically is on my phone or on my computer.
It's so much easier.
And it already uploads all my information, and so
like,
it's just like
I legitimately remember like that first job and others before that where you'd have like a stack of paper that was your like W-2s and your school information if you had that and all these other things that you'd then have to get another form from someplace and print it if you had a printer or go somewhere and pick it up and then fill out these little boxes and then stick it in the mail and like it was very complicated. Like it was so complicated and I had constant anxiety of like, did I check the right box? Did I put the right number in the right place? I don't even know.
Because again, it's the IRS. Like they will find you if you do something wrong.
I never got in trouble, so I assumed that I either didn't matter because I had like $1,000 to my name, or that I was fine. I assume I was probably fine.
You were fine, I'm sure.
But yeah, like why don't we teach our children how to file taxes?
I think that's a high school, like your senior year of high school, there needs to be a class about how to adult.
How to do stuff.
What to expect from college, and like how to do your taxes and how to do
how
to be an adult.
Find an apartment and pay rent. And, like, what utilities are.
What to look for when you're buying a car. And, like, just adult things.
Normal adult stuff. Like things you wouldn't even think of. Like, public transportation.
Yeah, public transportation.
If you've never
taking
done
the bus, taking the train.
How does it work? We should
That's a podcast for another time.
I know,
but
this is, like, a whole other podcast of us just, like, this is what we should teach kids. Just to give you guys perspective, I am single. Do not have children, don't really plan on having children, and Erin is also single. But it would have been helpful. Like, it would have been helpful if I would have had somebody just be like, hey, kid, this is how you fill out these weird forms. And don't worry about it, it's okay. You know, just like one time, it would have been helpful. I did have some good friends that helped with some stuff, but yeah, like I just kind of figured it out and hoped that nobody would come and show up my door while I was like a 16-year-old child. Just be like, we're gonna lock you away because you owe us $5.32. Oh, what a good first question. I'm gonna roll the dice and see where we end up. Isn't the tea so
The tea's actually really good. I was a little bit skeptical because I'm more of a fruity person, but this is really good.
It's nice. I got a 14. Oh gosh. Having to make appointments for stuff. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much does it make you want to curl up in a ball and die?
Like 10 being like awful, 1 being good?
1 being, sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. I feel like for me, it depends on the nature of the appointment, and is it like my first time going to this place, or is it like already like a follow-up thing, or like I've been there before and you make the next appointment before you leave? That's better. But like, oh gosh, like if you have to, let's say you have to like call an office and be like, hey, I'm this random person that has no business talking to you, and I want to show up at your door for this thing. I hate that. I hate that a lot. Like, I hate that so much. I will do anything I can to avoid that specific conversation. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why it bothers me. And even if it's a place like this last week I was a good adult and I went to the dentist. Yeah. You know? And I've been there before, but even like making that appointment and like they had to change my appointment time, like even those phone calls, awful.
Interesting.
I just worry about it. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Like I don't have social anxiety.
No, not at all.
No,
which is what's shocking for me because like you're a very outgoing social person and like that's like it's interesting to me
it's so weird. I don't know if it's the like detachment of somebody being on the phone. I've always felt like maybe it's because I feel like I really have no business calling them. And I don't really like receiving calls from people that I don't know. So what am I doing?
Sure.
Bothering this other person who has like a service or is my dentist and I have every right to call
I know
them.
it, and that's their job. Like their job is literally to take phone calls and to schedule appointments, Katie.
I know, and I'm not like they're not mean to me. I'm not mean to them. No. But I'm worried about it. I do not like setting up my own appointments. And it used to be much worse. Like, when I was younger, you know, like, my mom would be like, oh, if you're gonna go do this thing or whatever, like, you need to call and make the appointment. And I hated that. It was awful. Yeah. It stressed me out so much. Like, we used to have phones that didn't have screens, you guys. And so you just have to put the number in.
Freaking Nokia cell phone.
Pray. Yeah.
The Nokia little brick phone that was indestructible.
You just had to pray. You just had to be like, well, I hope I have the right number because what if I didn't? And wouldn't that be the absolute worst thing? Like, a step above, like, calling a stranger to make an appointment is calling a stranger for no good reason at all. That is such a deep fear of mine. Like, I've always liked the idea of prank calling, but I wouldn't be able to do it because I'm so scared of it. Like, I'm so scared. And what's the big deal? Like, if you accidentally put in the wrong number, it's a person, I mean, bless their soul if they answer the phone for somebody they don't even know, and then you're just like, oh, sorry, wrong number, and you move on with life. I die of fear.
I will say, though, that, I mean, like, that is one of the more embarrassing things for me, because it's just a simple inconvenience. You're like, oh, I'm so sorry I dialed, but that one I will say gets me.
So dumb about it, weirdly and intrusive.
But it just happens to everyone, though.
It does. It really does. But, yeah, I really don't like making appointments, but, like, if I've already established a relation, like, it's a place I go to frequently, it's less stressful, for sure. And, like, honestly, I feel like the online appointment schedulers that you can do through people's websites were made for people like me.
That makes sense, yeah.
I really do, because, like, it's the worst. Oh, it's the worst. And then you're on the phone with someone, and it also feels like a guessing game, because you're like, well, I know I can come in on these days. Yeah. But they don't know what days. So it's like you're waiting for them to guess what day you can come in on. Like, there's just so much about it that's weird. Yeah. So yeah, probably like a solid like what did we decide? 10 was
10
bad?
was the worst. Yeah, 10 was like curl like a bit ball crying.
I feel like, yeah, like I'm at an 8 most of the time.
Right.
I don't like making...
Well, for as long as
it.
I've known you, Katie, I'm learning new things about you today.
I will avoid it and do everything I can to, like, you've already made that appointment in person or, like, online or whatever. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes if I need to call and reschedule an appointment. Mm-hmm. It's just as bad. It's just as bad. Even if it's, I've been going, like, my dentist. If I had to call my dentist and be like, hey, I can't come in tomorrow, a thing came up or whatever.
Yeah.
I need to come in on a different day. I would put that off to the very last minute because I'm just, like, so, like, oh my gosh, this is such an inconvenience for them. Mm-hmm. What am I doing? This is so terrible. Like, it makes zero
Welcome
sense.
To having anxiety, Katie.
But the thing is, I don't.
That's
anything.
But that's how anxiety works.
That's how anxiety works. It doesn't make any sense.
That's my brain with every. It's funny because I actually really want to answer this question now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's funny. That's how my brain is wired. But when it comes to making phone calls, I'm like on the other end of a spectrum. I'm like a 1 or a 2.
Wow.
I don't know, and I think that part of this comes from my job because I've been on the receiving reception
You're
type
on the
work.
Other side.
I'm on the other side of that where it's like if there's an inconvenience, like someone calls in, like I'm just so so used to chatting on the phone with people, and I'm so comfortable with it. I don't care if it's like if I have to call in to make an appointment for my car, for the dentist, for my doctor's appointments, because it's so natural for me that and like I'm an introverted extrovert. We've covered this before, but like when it comes to like making phone calls, I'm an extrovert. I could be on the phone with someone for hours.
Wow. See,
yeah.
Like, I could be on the phone and have a conversation with another human for hours. But if it was like, I need to make an appointment with this human.
I don't care what the phone call is.
Wild.
For making an appointment.
Whoa.
I will make small talk on the phone with people if I'm making an appointment.
I'll do that because I'm scared.
No, I just do that because that's my personality.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so,
that's so
like,
wild.
I'm a really good person on the phone.
You would think we would be reversed.
Exactly.
Right? Because I am like that in person.
Yeah.
I'm, like, completely like that in person. Or, like, if I'm calling a friend. Like,
yeah.
I've definitely had, like, more hour-plus long
Oh, sure, but that's a friend.
But yeah, that's, like, totally different. Wow, that's
crazy.
Yeah,
what it's funny, though, is because growing up, I was the exact opposite. Like, I would never, my parents would be like, yeah, you like calling to, like, order a pizza. You know?
Oh, my gosh.
My
parents...
can
count on... Okay, Erin. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Okay.
But, like, I can literally count on one hand the number of times that I have ordered a pizza on the phone because I'm so scared to.
That used to be me, but now I'm like, oh, we want to order pizza? I'll go get my phone and I will order it. Like, I'm so
this
comfortable.
Is why we're friends.
You ever want a pizza, Katie? Let me call it in.
I'll call you. You'll call the pizza
If
place.
DoorDash is not available, we're ordering
DoorDash
pizza.
has saved my life. I've never used to
the
get
contact list, literally contactless in every sense of the word. It's on your phone.
Mind, like, going in and getting a pizza, ordering food, seeing people, drive through, doesn't matter. Like, I would happily talk to the dasher that comes to my door. That's totally fine. But calling a pizza place? Are you kidding me? I would die.
That's interesting. Yeah. So I hated doing that. Like even like ordering my own food, like in a store, like going like to Wendy's or something, ordering my own food. My dad and everybody always have to do it for me.
Wow.
And then but now it's like
at the drive-through.
Yeah, the drive-through. Whoa. Yeah. No, I'd always like hesitate and be like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
What if I F up?
Yeah.
What if they think I'm weird?
And
what
now,
if I say the thing wrong?
Now I just don't give 2 Fs. Like
That's
I
great.
really don't.
That's so funny.
And like I just figure it's a phone conversation either way. Everyone's human. Like
That's true.
When the person I'm calling, it's their job to take my call, and like whether they like it or not, that's their problem. You know?
That's true.
And so, like, and I also just have to go to so many doctor's appointments because of my autoimmune disease.
Dude, yeah.
That, like, I'm like, they're super
it's
chill.
Exposure therapy.
It's exposure therapy. Yeah.
One day it'll work on me, maybe. I don't know. Wow. Yeah, I can't even count. Like, maybe 3 times that I've ordered a pizza over the phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've ordered a pizza, like, over 6 times, like, this year already.
And that is the difference between you and me. Here's some more tea if you want it.
I will gladly take some. I haven't finished this cup yet, but I will gladly take some more because it's really good.
Man, see, I knew this would be a great topic.
I was also a little skeptical about this topic because I'm like, I'm not as old. Like,
I
haven't had as much of an
you
experience
know all the
adulting.
adult problems, so you're fine. You can comment on
I
all
have
of them.
faced all these adult problems.
All the adult problems. Did I roll the dice?
Yeah, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn. I was gonna say.
Is this one of your original dice towers?
Yeah.
8.
8. Ooh. This is great. I'm curious.
They've all been great questions.
Well, because I come up with them, so yeah. What is your perspective, or what was your perspective on love and dating as a child? And now, how is it different that you're an adult?
Oh dear.
Like, I want to know if somebody were to come up to little bitty baby Erin when she was like 6 and be like, Erin, what is love? What is dating? What would little bitty baby Erin say?
Little bitty baby Erin grew up thinking that Cinderella and Snow White and Sleeping Beauty and all of those, all the princess movies,
all the Disney movies,
that's how real life was, and that dating, you would find your Prince Charming and you would live happily ever after.
Go off in a carriage.
And
singing animals, probably.
Yep. That was, like, legitimately how I thought dating would be. I thought it was easy. And I thought it was, like, you just find this one person and you get along and bada bing, bada boom. You know, there's your...
Yeah.
Now...
And that's what love is.
And that's what love is.
You, like...
I grew up, like...
around,
you
hold hands... You spend time with them.
And, like, I think I had a deeper understanding of what love was because of what my parents taught us. Like, of, like, loving someone comes in different forms and everything. Like, as a child, I would say I had a deeper understanding of what love actually was.
That's cute.
And it's since has changed a little bit, too, obviously. But yeah, as far as, like, dating, marriage thing, like, it just was, like, one big fairy tale.
Yeah, like, literally a fairy tale.
Like,
one day
like your first kiss is going to be this magical, experience and... Honey, my first kiss was not like that at all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would say that. I think a lot of people would say that. Okay.
Gosh, I am so fired up about dating because I hate dating so much. I hate it. And maybe it's just because it's a Utah thing. Utah dating sucks.
It's kind of a weird vibe here, guys.
And I wish I could date in other places, other states, because maybe I'd get a different experience. I don't know. Maybe wherever you're at, no matter who you are or what you're doing, maybe you think dating in your state sucks.
It's a weird vibe there too. I don't know. I've been in other states and have dated in other states. I think my problem is, like, that was a hot second ago, so I can't comment on what it was like. What it would be like now.
Well, because you were younger.
Yes, but even like when I was in medical school stuff.
Sure.
I was in other states.
That's fair.
And traveling and things like that. And then like growing up on the East Coast, like that was very different. I feel like the weirdness here, at least from my experience, is unique to here. It's a weird vibe. It's a very weird vibe. Yeah. But okay.
Yeah. So I
kind of over that.
I'm over all of it.
All that garbage.
It's because I have so many things to say. So many things to say.
She's like gripping her teeth and just like shaking her head. This is great. I just get to sit here and sit.
Because these Utah boys, I feel like they have a certain, like almost like a stereotype of girl that they want to date.
Oh, yeah.
Like
hardcore.
That's very true. Like they want a stay-at-home mom who's ready to have like 12 children.
Like, guys, it's not the 1800s anymore. I love you, but no.
Freaking blondes. Guys have a thing for blonde girls in Utah.
I think that's everywhere.
Like there's like a stigma in Utah though that the typical like Utah mom is like the skinny girl with blonde hair, tall, with her Stanley mug, and like has a golden doodle and has this like 3 kids and everything. That is legit what boys are looking like. I kid you not. But I also like grown up like had really poor self-image and never and still kind of struggle with stuff like that too. But like never quite thought I fit in anywhere to like be good enough to date anyone.
Yeah, to like be wanted.
To be wanted by someone. Yeah. And like despite what people like, that's a real struggle for like me and like a lot of people too.
It's common. I think,
and so like
our culture kind of almost trains us now to have this expectation of what you need to look like, what you need to dress like,
and like
how you need to act to be attractive to
and
whoever you're trying to be attractive to.
And the age too. People in Utah get married young. So young. And I always grew up thinking that I would be married by the time I was like 20 or 21. It's still, and like I'm not much older than I'm 24, but like that's old in Utah standard.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like at least older for like people like
to be single,
and not
married with 2 kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like I'm not one when I do find my someone that I don't really want to have kids. Like I don't know if I can have kids with my autoimmune disease to begin with, but yeah, like I'm so over dating just because like I put myself out there and like I try and then I just get like disappointed.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And
that's
so
how
then
I felt.
And so I just have kind of stopped. Like I tried online dating and like it kind of worked, but then like because I met people.
Yeah, you'll definitely.
But then you either have the people that are like ready to commit and ready to be married. Like I met this one guy on Facebook dating that he actually lived up in Ogden, and super nice guy. But like we had like conversations. Like he was already asking me like marriage questions. Whoa. And I was like, dude, like I had not met him in person yet, Katie. Whoa. Yeah, and he was already like, this is the type of person I want. I want to have two boys, and I want to live on a farm, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and he was, and I was.
You can't see my face.
And I legit, yeah.
I mean, like if that's what you want, great. And you're being clear and communicating about it.
And like that's
great.
Give
but,
props to him.
Met him
give props. I mean, I give props to him for being open and honest about what he wanted.
For sure.
But I was like, that is not what I want. Like I was like, I would like to live on a farm. Like it'd be fun. But I'm like, cool. I'm that like I don't know if I can have kids. Yeah. And I was honest with him about that. And then he legit responded. It was like, well, there's always a way.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, all right. So
that's
we kind of got over that hump. I just was like, I just have to meet him in person because we had a lot of other things in common. Like
it is important to be open and communicate about like your lifestyle that you're looking for and that type of thing with your potential partner, because like if they're looking for that and you do fall in love and they don't say anything about it and then later on they're resentful, that's bad.
That's bad.
So you do need to be open and communicate, but like slow down.
You need to be like, you need to get to know the person first, and then that's a conversation for another time. Yeah.
Maybe find out their last name. Maybe go on a first date.
Maybe go on a first date. We never had like an official first date though. I went up to meet him. And he worked at like a gun shop, and he let me shoot like a bunch of fun guns and everything. That's really cool. And then he came down here. We're at my house, and like my parents were home obviously and everything. We like watched a movie, and like, that was kind of the extent. Just like hung out, yeah.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be this big complicated thing, but like having those like deeper conversations, like if you're ready for that, great. But like maybe just get to know each other first before you're like, so how many children do you want to have? So, like, do you want to buy this kind of house or that kind of house? Let me see.
And he was, like, super specific. He's like, I want 2 boys. And I was like,
I mean,
I don't have control over that, all right?
Nobody does. Like, I don't know if you know how that works, buddy, but, like, it's kind of, you get what you got.
Yeah. So you either get boys like that are ready to commit and marry you, just like, love at first sight, like, married at first, whatever that TV show is. Or you have the guys that are, like, so stingy and they act like they're interested, but then they're like, oh, I'm not looking for some, then I'm like, why are you on a dating site?
Yeah.
Why are you wanting to date if you're just going to be like, nah, I'm good. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's very frustrating.
Dating just sucks in general.
It's a rough time out there. And I feel like, for me, I've been so happy being single.
So have I.
And like, the thing that, it sounds so snobbish saying this out loud, but like, the thing that has made me like, content and comfortable with who I am and where I'm at and what I'm working on and what I'm doing, part of what has made me happy as a single person has been that I've not been pressuring myself to date.
Yeah.
Like, when things have come along and I've been interested in someone and we've gone on a couple dates, then I've let that happen and been a part of that. And then if it didn't go anywhere, I just kind of like moved on.
Yeah.
Mostly because at the time it was like the stage of life that I was in. I was moving a lot. I was in school. I was busy. but it has ended up making me just really happy and comfortable.
Sure.
As a single person. And like being single is not what's cruddy about being single. What's cruddy about being single, I feel like, is this unusual pressure to date and only be happy if you date are dating,
and if you're married, yeah.
And if you are married, and that like you must be miserable if you're not doing those things. Like that is not true at all.
No, not at all.
And like it's not that I'm not open to having a relationship and getting to know people and making friends. Like, guys, I freaking love human beings.
Katie is very outgoing.
I'm very outgoing. I love talking to people, unless it's on the phone.
Which we've learned, yeah.
I love talking to people. I love getting to know people. I love building friendships at whatever level that you're at. But, yeah, like all the stuff you're describing, just the rushed feeling, the feeling that somebody's trying to fit you into a box or you're trying to fit them into a box, the like weird expectations, like gosh, I feel like some of the best dating advice when I was more actively looking to date and that type of thing was from a friend who actually became a marriage and family counselor, like just like perfect for her. And she talked about how like a lot of these struggles would be solved if we just treated dating the way we treat making friends,
yeah.
Because there's this weird pressure to like get the status of being a couple, whether you're married or just together with your partner. There's like pressure to be a couple and to do the things and live the life that a couple lives. But like, are you friends?
Yeah.
Are you friends?
You gotta be friends first before you can be anything else.
I just feel like that was such solid advice.
Yeah.
And like most of the people that I have gone on more than a date with have been friends that we were like, hey, we get along really well. Why don't we try dating to see if we get along even more?
As more than friends.
Yeah. Like, and granted, I've also had the experience of like that then ruining the friendship because then they realized they were either catching feelings or not or whatever and made it weird. But, like, I would rather have had that than not try.
Sure.
You know, not giving it a potential try. But, I mean, yeah, just, like, there's this weird pressure to, like, be a couple. It's like, yeah, but, like, do you know their favorite color? Do you like to hang out with them? Do you like to hang out with their friends? Also?
Well, and then it also gives you a good opportunity to see that kind of person, like how they just are. How do you handle fights? Like if you get in a fight as a friendship, how do you handle that? How do you handle arguments? Like how do you handle like the bad side of someone too?
What if you get a flat tire? What about taxes? Do they do that? Like the adulting things, or just like the silly things that you wouldn't think would bother you, or the silly things you wouldn't think would bother someone else. Like how do they handle those things? Do you think that their weaknesses are actually cute and endearing? Like, yeah, you have to see all of someone. And, like, I feel like growing into love is more of an appealing idea to me than just, like the fairy tale of just, like, you just stumble upon it and it just happens. And, like, I do feel like that does happen for some people. Yeah. Like, they do run into that person that you just jive immediately. Yeah. And that's awesome, but that's the exception to the rule. And most of us just need to, like, be friends. Yeah. And guys, like, if you're feeling uncomfortable and unhappy as a single person, try not dating for a little while.
I was gonna say one thing my mom always told me, and it's funny because my mom has always pressured me into dating. She's always, have you found any guys? So who are you talking to? But my mom always told me, like, you always find the person you always find someone when you're not trying and when you're not looking. Yeah. So that's my solution. I'm just not gonna try and then find someone, right? But I'm fine if I don't, but like
I just feel like you can miss out on just so much of the beauty of just life and existing as a human if you are so fixated on reaching the thing. Whether the thing is like a significant other, whether it's like your degree, your job, getting that trophy, doing the sport, doing the thing. Like if you are so fixated on reaching the thing, you are going to underappreciate and miss everything that you have until you get to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a whole other topic, right? And mindset.
Right.
But like, I think that's why people frown upon being single and struggle with being single, is because they don't know how to like just being a human.
Mm-hmm.
And just living life and
Mm-hmm.
existing and enjoying life and learning how to get to know you and be a person that you like to spend time
mm-hmm.
with without anything else. And like, yeah, if you want to strive to have a relationship with someone and that's a goal, and marriage is your goal and family is your goal, that's great, that's fine. But like, if that is all you're focused on, then yeah, of course, everything else is going to be kind of cruddy because you don't have the thing.
The thing.
But then once you get the thing, spoiler alert, life keeps going.
Life keeps going,
You're still you. And, like, you still have to do taxes and make doctor's appointments on the phone.
You still have to make phone calls,
You
Katie.
still have to, I know. And, like, you'll still have those things in your day-to-day life. And if you were looking for, like, this big achievement, this promotion at work, your degree, your next fancy car that you bought, like, the next animal that you have in your life, like, whatever it is, if you're looking for that to fill some hole, you're going to be disappointed. Mm-hmm. That hole is still going to be there. Mm-hmm. Because that hole is, like, you just living life.
Yep.
Just live life.
That's one thing about, like, being single has taught me to do. I really appreciate, like, time for yourself.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think about it all the time. Like, I'm like, because everyone gets lonely, but like.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We had an episode about friendship where we talked about the loneliness pandemic.
Yeah. And like, every once in a while you get that, but then I think about the opposite, about always having someone.
That introvert in you comes out.
Having someone, like...
in your space.
That if you don't... If, like, you're sick of your spouse one day and you're just like, I just want to have alone time. You can't have it!
It has to be scheduled.
Like, you can. But, like,
But, yeah, there's
but, like,
a flexibility and a freedom.
You're kind of stuck with someone once you get married.
There's a flexibility and a freedom to it that you won't appreciate if you don't appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, loneliness is absolutely a thing. It's very real. But, like, just learn to live life. Like, learn to appreciate the
learn to
moments.
appreciate yourself first.
And yourself, yeah.
Because if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love another person?
Somebody else, yeah. And who are you going to be with the longest forever with in this life?
Yourself.
You.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, moral of the story, guys, like, learn to love you. Fall in love with you.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Doesn't that sound lovely? And, like, whatever that looks like for you, right? But find out what you likes. Find out what you loves. And do those things. And be that person. And, like, love you. So we need to love other people, but, like, you should probably love you.
You need to love yourself first. Put on your own oxygen mask before you help the person next to you.
Oh my gosh, the freaking airline. But it's real. It's very real. And, like, if you're struggling with, like, whatever... there is always room to find more love for you. And in finding more love for you, you then have more love for other people.
You can then,
Because you don't harbor this, like, resentment or distaste or whatever it is that you are struggling with inside there. Yeah. Right? Exactly. You can have more compassion because you can be like, yep, I was there. I can see that. I can empathize with you. Mm-hmm. And I can love you where you're at because I used to be there. Mm-hmm. Like, learn to love you guys.
Amen.
That was
freaking man.
Wherever that topic went.
That kind of went on a tangent, but that was great. That was a great tangent.
This is how this podcast goes.
I love it.
I think we have time for maybe like one more question.
Okay. Yep.
Let's see where it happens to go.
8. Didn't we do that one?
Yeah, we literally just did 8. I did not know how I did that. Yeah, let's roll it again.
Go ahead.
9. 1 more than 8 is 9.
9.
Oh my gosh. So, vast topic change. Having adult jobs and lives mean, like, bills and chores, but also adult money and adult curfews, which may or may not exist. What do you do with your adult free time and money?
Go ahead with your answer.
I mean, I feel like my listeners already know I'm a massive just nerd. I'm a dork and a weirdo. I love books. I love books. I love having physical books and audiobooks. So I spend money on books and bookshelves and just those things. And then the stories that are in the books, I usually like those. And so, like, I buy the things from the fandoms, like Harry Potter. Oh my gosh. So, yep, gotta have all those, right? I like Lord of the Rings. I like the Dungeons and the Dragons. Like, I'm just such a nerd. And so, what do I do with my adult things? I spend it on stuff I don't need, but it makes me really happy.
That's the bottom line.
Yes.
I was thinking about that walking up here today.
Yes.
I was thinking about spending money on something, and I was like,
Yeah.
who really cares except yourself? It makes you happy, right?
Yeah, and, like, obviously, bills.
Within
and groceries
reason,
and being
sure.
smart about your funds, but, like if you really think about it, like, it's kind of really cool that we get to grow up and find the things that we like, and then you're an adult one day, and you can just, like, fill your life with those things if that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can do that. So, I like to travel. I don't do it as much as I want, but I like to travel. I like to go to national parks. I love hiking and being outside. I like to do those things. So, like, I get to do what I want. I get to spend my money on what I want and, like, fill my life with all the nerdy, dorky things. Guys, I love dinosaurs so much. I love dinosaurs.
No shame.
I love talking about dinosaurs. I love going to places that have dinosaurs. I like seeing, like, the rocks that the dinosaurs came out of. Like, I just...
the rocks with the dinosaur prints on them.
Oh, freaking. It's just... They're so great. Trace fossils are so cool. It's just so cool. Anyway, we won't talk about that. I could talk forever.
That's another podcast.
I know. I need to have a dinosaur podcast real bad. But, I spend my money on nerdy things. I like games. Both the video games and the board games and the card games. I like movies. I like just, like, going to stuff with my friends. Just the things. The fun things. I like dice. They're great.
20-sided dice, perhaps?
Yeah. Well, all of them. All of the dice.
All the dice, yeah.
Yeah. I usually play a rogue, so 6-sided dice is kind of my go-to.
That's true.
For smacking stuff.
Sure.
But, I like a lot of really nerdy, dorky stuff. And science. Oh my gosh. Science. And
Makes
tea.
sense.
I do spend a lot of money on tea.
Yeah.
But it's delicious, and I can share it with my friends. So, that's my answer to that question.
Well, it's funny because my answer is basically the same, just a few tweaks.
I have brought you up in my way.
You have brought me up, so I have come around to the tea, but I'm more of a soda person, so I think a lot of my money goes towards
to soda. I would
soda.
Absolutely agree with that. I feel like there's rarely a time where I don't see some form of carbonated beverage in your hand where we're going, and if you don't have one, then when we get there,
then
you
we
get one.
there, I get one. Yep.
Yeah, there's always.
There's always a Dr. Pepper or a Mountain Dew in my hand.
Somewhere, sometimes both.
Sometimes both.
It depends on the time of day. Start with one, get another.
Get another at lunchtime. Yep. If it goes flat, I get a new one.
Exactly. Yeah.
But always. Yeah. The D&D, you brought me up on that, and I could never be happier.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's an addiction, you guys.
It is an addiction. I've always been a fan of Star Wars, and so I have a lot of Star Wars stuff in my house, hence the podcast we did last year.
Yeah.
Like I've got lightsabers. I love building Legos.
Yes. She sent me some pictures of, she got some floating shelves to start putting your cool Legos on. Oh,
my Lego sets.
Such a good idea.
Because I collected them as, like, younger age, and then, like, kind of started getting back into it, like, as an adult. And I don't have a ton of space.
That it was actually great and cool, but then was like, oh no, I need to put these somewhere.
I need to put these somewhere rather than just in a box.
In my box on the floor in my closet.
But yeah, also like the video games. I really do like doing things outdoors too. Hiking, stuff like that. Yeah. I do feel like I have a lot more freedom as an adult, though. I still have a bit of a curfew because I still live at home, technically. But, like, it's been a little bit more...
Well, and there's
a little bit more lenient.
Like,
I respect my...
Like, you have work tomorrow.
I have work tomorrow, exactly.
So, like,
yeah.
As an adult, you can conscientiously decide, like, I'm going to stay up till 2 a.m., and then hate yourself.
And then hate yourself the next morning.
So, like, yeah.
Which is 90% of the time what I do.
No. Don't do that. Guys, don't do that. Don't do that. If it's, like, for a good cause. But, like, if it's all the time, sleep is so important.
Yeah, I know.
Sleep is so
Sometimes,
important.
though, my body's always tired, though, too.
Yeah, there's also that. The
chronic fatigue. The chronic fatigue that comes with this autoimmune disease. Like, it just is unreal.
I think one thing that we didn't really get a chance to talk to, because we're running out of time, is that, like, when you become an adult, it's like, there's a lot of things that nobody warns you about, like taxes. But there's also a lot of things that they don't tell you about that's great. But one of the things that they don't warn you about is that, like, it's like an invisible fairy is going to be like, I'm going to gift you something as an adult, and it's going to be a random body pain. Sometimes it'll change depending on the day, but it's just going to always be there. Are you cool with that? And you're like, what? And then
you're like, wait, no.
Hello?
Too bad. Granted.
And they're just gone. Yeah. So, like, I feel like that's just, like, an adult thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, sometime between, like 25 to, like, 30. It's, like, somewhere in there that pixie just... Like,
I haven't even hit that, and I'm in pain, Katie.
It's a rough time for you. Yours showed up early. They were like,
mine showed up in high school.
My bus got me here a little bit early, so I just figured while I was in the neighborhood, I'm going to just give you chronic back pain. You cool with that? And then they ran.
Chronic back pain, then we added on chronic hip pain because of the chronic back pain. Yeah. And then, throw in some shoulder issues, too.
Nobody warns you about that fairy.
No.
So,
welcome to adulthood. Here's some back pain.
Here's some random back pain that you
welcome to adulthood. We have back pain for you.
Okay. You're like how kids will, like, pass out, fall asleep on anything in any position.
Jealous of them.
Right? And then, but you'll sleep, like, a little crooked on your
next day
therapy pillow. And the next day
dead.
You can't walk.
You can't move. Like, you're paralyzed.
It's the craziest thing.
For real. Like, arms up in the air when I'm sleeping, and I'll, like, wake up and notice it, and I'll move it down, and next day, shoulder pain for, like, the next week.
Stuck.
Maybe that's what happened to my shoulder. Maybe I just slept wrong on it.
Like, that's the thing about being an adult. This weird stuff happens, and you're just like, I don't know what I did. Like, I sneezed too hard, and now my rib is broken.
Yeah. Or freaking sneezing too hard and you let out a fart. That happens to me on the regular, too, and I'm like, I didn't used to do that when I was younger.
Oh my gosh.
Like, organs stopped working too. I had my gallbladder out like 3-4 years ago.
Absolutely wild, and nobody warns you about that. They're like, yeah, you used to be made of rubber. Now you're made of glass.
Now you're made of freaking sandstone. You just crumble at the freaking
It is absolutely
like little kid. You're like, I want to be a grown up, and then you're a grown up. You're like, I want to be a kid again.
That one, except for with my same budget.
Except with the budget, I will say the budget thing, I do like having my own money.
It is
now.
nice. Like, and like, granted, our economy and all the things that we could gripe about, but like, guys, I have a job and I can spend my money on the nerdy garbage that I don't need, and that's cool. That's a cool thing.
And also just like, mind your own business with what people want to buy, though, too.
That's true, yeah.
If you're into something nerdy, that's okay. And, like, you can be a friend, and you can be like, maybe you should save your money, and maybe you should be a little smarter with it. Yeah. But then don't be such a stickler where you're like my family, where it's like, why are you buying this thing that you don't need? I'm like, well, it makes me happy.
It makes me happy.
Okay? Yeah. I don't need Legos, but do they make me happy? I say money can buy you happiness.
Well, it can
to
buy
a point.
You ice cream.
So which makes you happy.
We've all known this for a while now.
Yeah.
So,
money can buy you tea, and tea makes you happy.
This tea is so good.
And this tea is so good.
I'm glad you liked it.
I did like it.
I'm glad you like it. It really does taste like you're drinking like a storm.
It's very refreshing.
From a mountainside. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like wakes you right up,
like
and you're
cool
just like
spring water or something. Like runoff.
Yes, but without like the dirt in it.
But without the dirt,
and the giardia.
Yep. And the salmonella, whatever else is in there.
Whatever else is in that spring water. But yeah, that's what it tastes like. It reminds me of like very much a mountain squall, like a storm over a mountain.
A mountain squall, the storm over the mountains.
And here we see. Guys, we're getting off on a bunch of weird tangents. This is all we have time for today, but I'm really glad you joined us. I'm really glad you've joined us, Erin.
Thank you. I'm really glad I've joined you.
This was really, really fun.
Thanks for my chaotic energy, and thanks for tolerating it.
You're welcome. Anytime. Every time.
Every time.
But we'll talk at you later.